Hello and welcome to a special episode of the BoKcast where we are going to discuss our kind of like our best, most favoritist albums of the past 9 years.
Yeah.
Basically from 2010 onwards.
Yeah, the decade.
Yeah.
The 2010s?
2010s.
2010s.
We don't have a snappy name for it, do we?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because it's like from 2013 onwards, it's the 20-teens, but
yeah,
2010s.
And the noughties was a shite name for that decade.
That's a shite name for that decade.
Yeah. I like the 2000s.
2000s is better than saying the noughties, but 2010s is okay.
Yeah.
So guys, if you haven't noticed, it's the end of the 2010s. So everybody will be doing these lists.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest albums, the greatest films, the greatest whatever of the last decade.
And in this case, we're going to be kind of using the Guardian's latest efforts of basically this century. So from 2000 onwards, they tried to cover from 2000 till now what the best albums, the best movies were.
Yeah.
And we had some disagreements with their very shitty list.
It's a strange naming of the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I get it. It's like the 100 greatest X of the century.
Yeah.
We're 19 years into the century.
Yeah.
It's like, you could have just named it the 100 greatest albums since the millennium.
Yeah.
Fine. You could have just left it a year and then it could have been the 100 greatest albums of the first 20 years instead of the first 19 years. It's sort of so arbitrary. It's strange.
That I could only imagine that they wanted to just fill time.
Their list of albums, you know, there's a lot of good albums on there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, it's worth a read.
Yeah.
But the problem I had with the album is it doesn't give you anything unexpected. All the albums that you expect to be there are there.
Mm-hmm.
What's always interesting with these lists, and I know the internet is full of too many lists, but when you get a good list, it'll give you something that surprises you. It'll go like, I wasn't expecting that, and the author of it has argued their point, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's sort of interesting with these end of decade lists. But the Guardians is, you know, there's lots of great albums on there, but you're just getting the ones that you expect.
I will say this though, their number one I did not see coming because it has absolutely no fucking right to be anywhere near the number one spot of the past 19 years.
Their number one is Back to Black by Amy Winehouse.
Which, get fucked.
I mean, what I was thinking about this, because it's a good album. It wouldn't be my favourite of even the year it was released. The year it was released is 2006. My favourite album, but this is just personal taste, I liked Ghostface Killah's Fish Scale. That would be my favourite album of the year. Now, does that make that the best album of the century so far? No. What I think is, you could argue that it's not the best album of the century.
Mm-hmm.
All 19 years of it. But it's probably, in fairness to them, the most iconic. Like, if you think of of since the 2000s, what makes an album iconic? Typically, it's somebody of some stature.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the circumstances of her life and death, it is probably the most iconic.
Yeah.
She's a great singer.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a good album. I'm not knocking it, really. It's not my type of thing.
Yeah.
But it's good. I've heard it. Everybody's fucking heard it. But we decided not to do the best album of the century because that makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah.
We're at the end of the decade. Why not just do the 100 greatest albums of the last decade?
Yeah.
We're not going to do 100.
No.
We're just going to do 10.
We probably could muster up 100 lists, but you would never want to hear it in podcast form. So yeah, safe bet, rattle through the 10 albums that we still can stick on and still
Yeah.
love and enjoy, like the records that have stuck with us for the past 10 years.
2010 through to 2019.
Yep.
I'll say I don't have anything from 2019 yet. Nothing's sunk in as much, I think, as probably just because of bias of time.
Yeah.
There's a lot more on my list in my top 10. The latest album on that's 2016. Maybe we'll mention some that didn't get on my 10. What didn't get on my top 10 but would be in my top 25, I guess, would be there's albums from Idols from last year and Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Wolves in the Throne Room, Sons of Kemet, the Daughters record that I made my favourite last year, that would be there on the longer list. Brockhampton, Frank Ocean, the last Beastie Boys record, the last David Bowie record, and Kanye West. Kanye West has not made my top 10. I think a lot of people will be putting him in their top 10 at the end of the decade, but he's not made it. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and Yeezus are both great records. Yeah. And they would sit at my number 11. I have issues with them. I won't go into it just now. I could do a whole rant about it. But for me, they've not made it onto the list. What about you? Who didn't get on?
Yeah, I should probably.
Who didn't get on your 10?
Unfortunately, as much as I really loved pretty much every Father John Misty record, they've all been released in the 2010s.
Yeah.
None of them made the top 10, but I'd give a shout out to like Fear Fun, I Love You Honey Bear, God's Favourite Customer, Pure Comedy. And actually, like, I'm gonna have to give some shout outs as well to Radiohead's King of Limbs. I really like that record. I know a lot of people don't, but I really like King of Limbs. Also, like Everything Get to Heaven. I actually not Get to Heaven. The Everett Never Get to Heaven is on it, but A Fever Dream by Everett Never.
Yeah, okay.
Like that made it onto my 2018 list, even though it was a 2017 record because I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Didn't make my top 10, but it's like, I mean, it effectively is. It's like a kind of like, it's like a deputy. It's a deputy to the top 10 kind of thing. I'd also give a big shout out to like Skeleton Tree by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
I would have went with Push the Sky Away as my Nick Cave album.
Push the Sky Away is in my list.
But Skeleton Tree's great as well.
Yeah. And Radiohead also had like Moonshaped Pool, but yeah. And the Twilight Sad released like 3 albums in this decade, and I fucking loved all of them. But yeah, not enough to hit the top 10.
Okay. Right. So, shall we explain the sort of format, I guess? Maybe we'll do 10 to 4 on our lists, and then do bronze, silver, and gold.
Yeah, because effectively 10 to 4 is going to be an almost interchangeable, arbitrary...
Yeah. Depending on the day, it could change.
Yeah.
Whereas the top 3 will probably remain the top 3.
Yeah.
So, do you want me to go first? Do you want you to go first?
You go.
Okay, so my top 10 of the decade, from 10 down to 4. Number 10, Flying Lotus with You're Dead.
Okay.
If you had said at the start of the decade that jazz would have come back in a big way and been appreciated by lots of young people, I would have not believed you. But it really has, and there's an album later on the list that might have a big thing to do with it. A lot of people might go with Cosmogram, which is more sort of spacey, and it's a good record, but I prefer this one. This one I think is thematically more interesting. It's got more punch to it and more bite. Mm-hmm. The features on it are great, and the production's just all over the place. There's like 20 odd tracks on it. A lot of them are a minute and a half, and it just goes everywhere. And it's just brilliant. It's just so great. I love it. It's good. My 9 would be, this is my weirdo choice. 9 would be Omar Soleiman with Wenu Wenu from 2013. This is Syrian techno music. So what it is it's just straight down the line, sort of 80s techno, but it's got this Arabic flavour to the music, and all it is just these sort of really repetitive, very 80s techno beats with this guy just singing on the top of it. And I don't know, it's just infectious. I love it. It's very much my own taste. I've listened to it endlessly. It's also one of the craziest gigs I've ever been to.
Okay.
He just stands there bolt upright, doesn't really move, dark sunglasses, just whilst this is playing in the background and just singing over the top of it. It's just wild. I love it. It's really good. A lot of people will be turned off. I just love it. It's great. Good party record, and it's just solid dance. 8 would be Shabazz Palaces with Black Up.
Okay.
I love this record. Experimental hip hop. It's been a really good decade for experimental hip hop, and this just has so many great songs on it. Just the production is murky and nasty, and it's strange. It's just great. I love it. 7 would be Nails with Unsilent Death. 13 minutes long, just straight up grindcore, nasty, smelly. It's been on repeat in my brain for 9 years. I just love it. It's great. My number 6 would be To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
Just a great record. As soon as it came out, you knew it was a classic. As soon as it came out, it was compared to the greats of, the 70s sort of soul, Marvin Gaye and these sorts of records, and it's sort of a conscious record. The tracks on it are just great. King Kuta, All Right, everything on it's so good. The production is strange and varied. You've got people like Kamasai Washington on there and Thundercat. It's very indebted to jazz and funk and soul, and it's just raging. It's such an angry record, and it's so weird that this sort of album was as popular as it was and as sort of mainstream as it was, because it's so full of weird jazz and strange stuff.
Yeah,
and he really is top tier. In terms of hip hop this decade. Damn's great as well.
Yeah, Good Kid, Mad City came out as well.
Those 3 albums are just great, but this is his best, I think.
Yeah.
My number 5 would be Atrocity Exhibition by Danny Brown. Just nasty, grimy hip hop. It's his best record. Just so strange, the samples and the production on it. His flow is just so distinct and unique. He's my favourite sort of individual rapper for the last 10 years. Really great, sort of almost like a post-punk sort of record. It's a Joy Division allusion in the title, and it's just brilliant. It's just a great, grimy, nasty hip hop record. Love it. It's great. And my number 4 is The Satanist by Behemoth, which is just the best metal album in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Without doubt. Metal in the 2000s, I think, suffered a little, or the noughties. The production was a little too clean, a little too cluttered. This is just so well produced. The songs on it are great. It's theatrical, and it just goes so many places that you wouldn't expect a metal record to go. The playing's fantastic. I just love it. It's great. So they would be my 10 down to 4. What about you?
Okay, so number 10 is going to have to be Skying by the Horrors.
Okay.
Because I think that album basically didn't stop playing for the entire year after it came out. Like, I think I listened to it at least twice a day, every day for the full year. It was just, I got addicted to it. And it was like...
Yeah, that's a good record.
They'd already made amazing records before. Like, their first album, as different from everything else as it is still great. And then, like, the second one... the fuck's it called?
Primary Colours.
Primary Colours is really good, but Skying is something...
Sort of shoegazy.
It's like taking what Primary Colours did and taking it to, like, the 10th degree.
Yeah.
It perfects that shoegazy sound that they were trying for, and it still has, like, the Oceans Burning is, like,
That's
maybe
so
one of the best tracks, like, sort of post-punk, like, shoegazy tracks I've ever heard. So yeah, Skying still slaps. I could still listen to that record.
Man, I'd forgotten that was out.
Yeah,
it's great.
I was kind of like surprised when it rushed back, and I was like, holy shit, I can't believe I haven't listened to it in maybe about 2 years, but I have to go back and listen to it because I was like flooded by all the memories of listening to it and being like overcome by it. Number 9 is going to be Mount Erie's A Crow Looked at Me.
Okay.
Maybe one of the most heartbreaking folk-y kind of indie records I've ever heard. It's an entire album about his wife dying of cancer, and it's basically a sung diary of watching her die and dealing with her death and trying to raise their daughter in the wake of her death. And it's brutal and Spartan and beautiful in a way that I don't think any other albums managed to be ever, and honestly could be higher. The only reason it isn't is because it's so heartbreaking to listen to that it's not the kind of thing that you want to put on over and over and over again, but I loved it so much that I did. But it puts you in a dark place. I listened to it a fuck ton, but it's a dark album. Number 8, I'm going to give to Daughters, You Won't Get What You Want.
Cool.
Because it's maybe the most undervalued album of 2018 from my point of view.
Okay.
Because I put it way too low in my top 10. In fact, it was number 8, I'm pretty sure, in my top 10 from 2018. And the more I listened to it, the more obsessed I got with it. Like, coming off the back of us doing that episode, I was like, yeah, Joy as an Act of Resistance is still up there, really up there. But when we got tickets to go and see Daughters as well, it was like, I'm going to double down, I'm going to listen to everything. I got obsessed with like their self-titled is fucking excellent, and like this album, it was one of those ones where like I listened to it every day for months on end. All of a sudden it was like, I got it. What wasn't clicking for me when we did that 2018 list, totally something just clicked, and I became obsessed with it.
I think it will be in my top 10, but like I was saying, in a couple of years, once I've really got into it and heard it a million times. But yeah, I could see it getting up there for me as well.
Even to the point where I got so obsessed with this album, I bought it on vinyl, even though I still don't yet own a record player.
There you go. That's
and it's
obsession.
A beautiful London fog, they call it. It's like clear, but it's like grey mist.
All right,
It's a beautiful vinyl. But it's a great album. Terrifying and heavy as fuck, and surprisingly fun in places.
Yeah.
For the abject misery that's all over the album as well.
Oh man,
it's,
I've got to go listen to it again.
The horror imagery and stuff like that on things like Guest House, it's like shit I haven't heard in anything as well. It's like it stands alone as that kind of like these weird images that he can conjure up, and how terrifying he is as a skinny little weird heroin addict looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
But yeah, Really, really exemplary. Number 7, I'm going to give to The Satanist.
Cool.
Because I had to put it in my top 10.
Oh, it needs to be.
Because basically since like 2014, it's made it into my listening schedule maybe once every month ever since. And especially in the wake of it coming out, we were obsessed with it, and we went to go and see them live, and it was like one of the best, like most theatrical, goofy black metal performances I'd ever seen. And it's like we went to go and see them again last year. No, this year. Was
it this year? Yeah.
I think it was this year, the QMU.
Yeah.
And the fucking venue sucks. The QMU is bad, but like they played well, and it was great really to see them again. I love that. I love that sort of gothic theatricality that they kind of give you. And The Satanist just goes a mile a minute, and it's like so fucking accomplished as a metal record. It's not. We've described a lot of the time heavy metal as like caveman-y, as like brutal and like thoughtless in some
like
regards.
Nails is caveman.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But this is well made by really good musicians.
Yeah, this is like thinking man's metal.
Yeah,
it's great.
Definitely.
It's very, very good. So yeah, that's up there. Number 6, I'm going to give to Giles Corey.
Cool, yeah.
Because I knew it would be in my top 10, but again, based on this arbitrariness, I'm like debating just now. But 6 sort of fits.
Yeah.
The utter obsession I feel with this album, again, is like unrivaled. That those images that he conjures up, and like the tone of the whole album, and the weird occult themes that he deals with on the book that accompanies the album and stuff like that, the artistry involved, and like just everything about it I fell instantly in love with. And the only reason it's not in my top 3 of the past 10 years is because it is relatively new in my world.
Yeah, and I suppose what we're trying to get at with these lists is that they are arbitrary.
Yeah.
This is 2019. If you ask us in 2020, it might be a totally different list. Probably a lot of the albums will remain there, but the actual order of them, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 5, I will give to Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds' Push the Sky Away.
Yes.
It's a beautiful, somber album in that way where like Nick Cave has like one off, one on.
Yeah.
He makes an album that goes. So you had Dig Lazarus Dig, and then he followed up with Push the Sky Away.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful and like poetic. It's something that still sort of gets to me is how much it feels like tone poem, spoken word. Skeleton Tree is very, very navel gazing as well, but it's like it's utterly despondent, and like, but Push the Sky Away is beautiful and hopeful, and still deals with like some like typical Nick Cavey kind of like slightly more seedy imagery to pun the name slightly, but it's an incredibly accomplished album, and it's got Higboson Blues on it. Higboson Blues is still like one of the best Nick Cave songs, and like Jubilee Street and like Finishing Jubilee Street, like everything about that record. I don't think there's a bad track on it. I could listen to it over and over and over again, and I did, and still do to a degree. But I will say that I do put Dig Lazarus Dig on more now, because it's just a little bit more fun.
If that had been done in the last decade, then it'd be up there.
Yeah.
But
you know what is actually, and I completely forgot about, Grinderman 2.
All right.
Which I never got into as much as the first one.
Yeah, first Grinderman's the best.
Number 4, I'm going to give to Godspeed You Black Emperor, Asunder, Sweet and Other Distress. And the only reason I'm giving this number 4 is because there's another Godspeed You album above it, but they're so interchangeable. But I felt too bad about putting 2 Godspeed You records in the top 3. So I was like, which one gets relegated to the arbitrary ones? It's like they're both so fucking beautiful and perfect. It could have been either one of them. I love both of them a whole lot. In fact, Asunder, Sweet and Other Distress is the album I listen to more than Alleluia, Don't Bend Ascend.
Yeah.
But I think Alleluia, Don't Bend Ascend is a better album.
Yeah.
More accomplished and more full in its composition and stuff like that. Because Asunder, Sweet and Other Distress people kind of bag on because it's got the big long drone tracks.
Yeah.
I like it. I really love the feeling that album gives you, and I like the direction that Godspeed went in with that sort of stuff. They dropped all the really vocal sample heavy stuff from Lift Your Skinny Fists and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah.
And they moved to pure wall of noise, fucking sweeping grandiose music, and that's exactly what that album is. These two albums are. So yeah, that's me. That's my 10 to 4.
Okay, well, my bronze position, number 3, is the best pop album of the last decade. It's Visions by Grimes.
Okay.
I just love it. I just love it. Just those tracks are so clever and seemingly simple, but you dig through them and they're just so well crafted. Just great pop bangers. You know, you've got Oblivion on there, you've got Be a Body, you've got Genesis. These are just, you know, as soon as I heard those singles, I was like, what the fuck is this? Sort of strange sci-fi sounding, like Mariah Carey from space. What the fuck is this? It's just a great fun record, and outside of the singles, all the other album tracks are just great, sort of weird, glitchy electronica. It's just fun. It's probably the most fun record. In fact, I lie. Number 2 is the most fun record, but this is just joyful, great pop music. It's been on endlessly since it came out. 7 years down the line, I'm still listening to it, and it still makes me dance. So, number 3, Grimes. Yeah, a lot of people would go with Art Angels, the later album, but no, Visions all the way, definitely. It's just her at her best pop record of the last 10 years. What's your number 3?
Yeah, I was debating it ever so slightly, but I'm going to go for it. Queens of the Stone Age, Like Clockwork.
Oh, okay.
It's the best Queens of the Stone Age album.
Okay.
And
that's contentious.
People will come at me with your rated R's and your songs for the deaf, and you'd be wrong, because those albums contain flab.
Okay.
As good as they are, there are moments on those albums that feel like they could easily lose these tracks.
Especially on Rated R.
Yeah, there's some real fucking stinkers on Rated R. As good as its high points are very high, Rated R, but its low points are very low. So to me, Like Clockwork is the most whole, perfect version of Queens of the Stone Age. They've perfected the sound. Their fucking production's as clean as a fucking whistle. The tracks are so much fucking fun to listen to, yet they can slow down and get really serious. Some of it's genuinely beautiful in places, I'd say, in like Clockwork. There's like genuinely moving tracks, and like My God Is the Sun is one of the best Queens of the Stone Age tracks of all time, hands down.
Yeah.
Smooth Sailing, such a fun song. And like, you've got the actual title track, Like Clockwork itself, is like, this is perfection. There's not a wasted movement in this album. Like Fairweather Friends is like one of my favourite songs that the Queens of the Stone Age have ever done as well.
Yeah,
it's got fucking Elton John on it, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Like, who would see that coming? It's just, and it works. Everything works.
Yeah, I'd forgotten how great a record that is. I'm just listening to you talk about it. I'm going to have to go and listen to it tonight.
And I love Songs for the Deaf. It's such a good album. And it's got the whole concept running through of like desert rock radio kind of thing. Like, you can imagine yourself belting through the American Mid-South or something like that on a gigantic dusty road in a fucking pickup, just listening to this album going a mile a minute. And it's bold and it's fucking fun and it's harsh in places, but Like Clockwork is like a fucking finely honed point.
Yeah.
It gets you, it stabs you right in the brain and it never leaves you. It's just excellent rock music.
Yeah, it's great. I'm going to re-listen to it. My Number 2, my silver place. This is a big fucking cheat here. It's Run the Jewels 2.
Okay.
And Run the Jewels 3. It was number 2 for the longest time, and then I re-listened to number 3 this morning, and I was like, fuck, I can't pick between them. It might be difficult for some to remember what a low point hip hop was at in the sort of mid 2000s. And I loved hip hop. I'm into my old school hip hop. Growing up, I loved the Beastie Boys, and I loved Ice Cube, and just sort of any of those great production houses like the Bomb Squad or Eric B and Rakim, any of that. And hip hop's had a really great period in the last decade. It's rediscovered the sort of weirdness that was there in the 80s and the early 90s that then got sort of trounced upon a little, and it became a little more commodified. Hip hop's had a great decade, and Run the Jewels are just fucking great. These last 2 albums I'm going to mention, this and my number 1, these 2 bands make me as excited about music when I first heard them like I did when I first heard The Prodigy, or when I first heard Public Enemy, or the Beastie Boys, or any of these bands that I fell in love with at 15. These last 2 bands that we'll go into, Run the Jewels here, just excite me. It's just great music. They both started off the decade. They'd been away for a while. It wasn't, the mid 2000s was pretty poor for them. The records weren't selling well, and it's just great to see these 2, Mike and LP, come together and just make absolute fucking great records.
Yeah.
LP's production is the best hip hop production in the last decade. You can shout at me all you want. You can say it. Kanye's production's great. It is. LP does it better. LP's production is so unique and sort of, it's almost like his production is almost like sort of sci-fi dystopian, just beefy, great hooks, and the changes in the beats are fucking amazing, and they just get you in the guts, and they just like, I love this. You've got Mike on top of that. Mike at his best is just such a great rapper. LP's great as well. In terms of rappers and producers, I'd go with LP. He can make the beats, and he can fucking rap up a storm. Kanye can make up a beat. Kanye can't rap. Okay? LP beats him on that.
Yeah.
Mike is fucking great. His verses are just fantastic. When he is let off, he just goes. The changes in the tempo in his voice and just the flow is fucking so good. I can't choose between 2 and 3. There's just so many great songs on this. Yeah, the hit rate for them, there's like not a duff track on either of these albums.
Yeah.
I just love them. It's just, yes, I need more Run the Jewels in my life, and I've already got fucking loads of it. So yeah, they'd be my number 2.
Cool.
And what's so great about them, the last little thing, is you'll get really great political commentary and then really funny dick jokes. Tell me another band that can do that as well as they can. So yeah, they're my number 2. Run the Jewels 2 and 3. Big fucking cheat, but fuck you, it's my list.
My number 2 is Death Grips No Love Deep Web. And obviously it's a tough choice because
it's a good record.
They've released 5, technically 6 records in the past 9 years. Sorry.
Yeah. Any of them could be on the list.
Ex-military, Money Store, No Love, Deep Web, Government Plates,
Bottomless Pit,
fucking
Powers
That Be, Fashion Week, Interview, like everything that they've done.
Year of the
Snitch, technically, if you want to count this year's stuff. Oh no, wait, it was last year.
Last year.
Sorry, completely blanked on that. And it's like everything they've released is just one new, daring, weird, fantastical experiment after another, but everything's still so perfectly fucking fun to listen to. It never feels too obtuse. Everything's felt cool and good, except for maybe Government Plates is a bit of a misfire. But No Love, Deep Web for me trumps all of them, even Money Store, which is Money Store is arguably like maybe a better album because it's slightly more diverse.
Yeah.
No Love, Deep Web for me is so great because it has this sense of cohesion that maybe like it definitely isn't there in subsequent Death Grips albums. They go even more left field in later releases, but like No Love, Deep Web has that like weird hollow frantic sounding synth all over it.
I love it, yeah.
And like it's so punishingly heavy in places, especially like things like Lock Your Doors. Lock Your Doors is like one of the most fantastic live experiences I've ever had. The first time we saw them.
Yeah.
The first time we saw them when they played Lock Your Doors, they filled the fucking stage with smoke. And MC Ride just came out of the smoke sometimes and then disappear back into it just to scream at us with his shirt off. And it's like, this is terrifying and brilliant and
exciting.
It's like this band captures something in the world of experimental hip hop as good as you said, good as experimental hip hop is now. Death Grips is still at the top.
Yeah.
They're untouchable right now. And yeah, No Love, Deep Web was like, this is my Death Grips album. This is the one that I've claimed as my own. I'll always go to bat for that.
Oh no, I think I love it. It's such a good record. Just you think about the tracks on that record.
Yeah.
It's just classic after classic after classic.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, like
so
no Love even is just like there's. It's such a furiously heavy track. No Love. It's like when they go heavy, I think the heaviest they've ever been is No Love, Deep Web.
Yeah, I'd go with you on that.
And it's like heavy in a way where it's like the bass is just cripplingly loud. It's not that they've got like screeching.
Yeah.
It's not like you might think he loves you for your whatever. It's not like that kind of loud. It's fucking bass that punishes you Black Dice. Fucking Whammy. Whammy's so much fucking fun. Like everything.
You've even got like Artificial Death in the West.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Everything about that record is heavy and fun, and still like I'd say it's like weirdly accessible for what it is. Yeah. It's like weirdly an accessible album, as intimidating as it can be, especially because it's got a dick on the cover. It's a bit hard for people to swallow, but so yeah, that's my number 2.
My number 1, my gold, is The Money Store by Death Grips. Death Grips, what more can I say? My favourite band of the decade. There's not much else I can say. I'll be repeating you. I just love them. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to list the songs on this album. You've got Get Got, The Fever, Lost Boys, Blackjack, Hustle Bones, I've Seen Footage, oh my god, Double Helix, System Blower, The Cage, Punk Wait, Fuck That, Bitch Please, and Hacker. My god, there has not been a better album in the last 10 years. They're just the best band of the decade. They make me feel like I'm 13 again, and I just want to jump and go fucking crazy to them, and it's just so good. I love it. I will be listening to this album for years to come. I don't know what's going to lodge it from the top. I love Deep Web, but for me, Money Store just pips it.
Yeah.
if I was doing a full 25, No Love would be in there.
Yeah.
It would probably be 11, probably, right? But Money Store, I'm constantly listening to it still.
Yeah.
It's on all the time, and I've not got bored of it, and I'm still getting excited about it. Every song on it is so fucking good. I love it. Yeah, it's my favourite of the decade, definitely.
It's understandable. It's like a really fucking tough choice. Especially they came out in the same year.
I know.
Money Store and No Love Deep Web. How the hell does one band have so much good shit to give you at all times, seemingly?
And
it's insane.
It's always fallen like that with me and you.
Yeah.
I've always been a Money Store man. You've always been a Deep Web man. I mean, they're both great.
Oh yeah.
What else can you say? They're definitely Death Grip's best band of the decade.
Oh yeah.
New band of the decade, just fucking great. I can't say much more because I'll just start hyperventilating. Money Store, 2012. You've won the decade. Congratulations.
It's time for me to just to give you my number one, which is like I already said it effectively, but it's another Godspeed You Black Emperor album. Okay. It is Hallelujah, Don't Bend, Descend.
It's great. It's a good record.
It has Melodic on it. It's like
there you go.
You've kind of just summed it up there, but like I'm like the biggest Godspeed You Black Emperor mark. I've got a fucking Godspeed You Black Emperor tattoo from an EP that I don't know how many people know. And it's like this band do something to me that I think like I even like people dismissed Luciferian Towers when it came out.
Yeah.
I fell in love with that record as soon as it came out. I loved it.
That's the most recent, right?
Yeah, 2017. And it's like, I don't think they can make bad music. They're incapable of making bad music. And Hallelujah, Don't Bend, Descend is the best of what is already a band that makes the best time and time again. And like if I was to like rank it in amongst like all the other like Godspeed You, I would be like a fucking tough call. Pretty much.
You got Skinny Fists, right?
Skinny Fists, I would actually put third.
Okay, yeah.
I would put Hallelujah and Asunder Sweet at the top.
Okay,
the two of them. Then I would put Slow Canada.
Right.
And then I would put Skinny Fists.
Okay.
Then F sharp, A sharp.
Okay, yeah.
Then Luciferian, then Yankee, EXO, Unexploded Ordnance, UXO, UXO, Yankee UXO. And there's new tracks floating about the internet just now. Like they're apparently coming up with something new, hopefully soon. Can't fucking wait. I would love to see them again. I've seen them twice and I would love to go back every time because again it's an experience. They have the projectionist, they play it and like he burns the film live, he uses bowls to create weird fisheye effects and stuff, and it's like you get this whole feeling when you're listening to Godspeed You Black Emperor. They're scoring a mumblecore movie that doesn't exist at all times. It's like everything is so beautiful and grand and sweeping and punishingly heavy as well at times. It's like it's mood music for any mood. I can listen to them when I'm fucking depressed as hell and they'll bring me up, or I can listen to them when when I'm happy and I'll just feel even better. They're a great band making great music consistently, and Hallelujah, Don't Bend, Descend is just maybe the best example of it.
Cool. Yeah, I really loved it as well. I've not re-listened to it as much because you're a Godspeed Mark. But I loved it, and I don't know where I would place it. I always love Skinny Fists, but I'm gonna have to re-listen to it. It's been a couple of years since I've given it a proper listen. Cool. I'm gonna listen to it again.
Give as much time to Asunder Sweet as well. Asunder Sweet and Other Distress is like really up there for me. Cool. And like again, people dismissed it because of the drone stuff, but it's excellent. It's
the joke of this show is that we love a bit of drone.
Yeah, drone metal will get you. So that's
yeah.
it. What's your top 10s of the past 10 years? I bet you as well to say anything.
Oh, that was some good audience participation there.
That's I was going to say like join us next time, but this is a special episode, so I hope you enjoyed it. We might do more shit like this, and we will eventually give you our top 10 of 2019, and that will hopefully factor into another one if we ever choose to do this again. So I'm just going to blow the mic out for the outro, and the waveform looks nice and fuzzy, so I'll speak to you later. Right, cheers, see you later, man.
Bye, see you after.